Hi there, let's look at the astro weather for Sunday, October 22nd. So 1:08 a.m. sees a square aspect between the Sun and Pluto. So this is the Sun in Libra and Pluto in Capricorn. So this is the Sun wanting fun and Pluto wanting us to take our responsibilities seriously. So this is on a deep level because we are dealing with Pluto here. So this is kind of the energy of your fears and anxieties coming up in your dreams for you to take a look at. Then at 3:20 a.m., we see the moon trining Uranus. And this again, we're likely to be asleep, but this is kind of like a mature emotional adaptation to the energy of needing to make the sudden change to overcome what that issue was that showed up earlier in our dreams. So this is sort of the energy of that you might wake up from very tired. At the moment, we are dealing with a lot of Neptune and Pisces energy being around, which is a lot of overnight dream, sort of deep introspection and shadow work going on. So if you're finding yourself quite tired when you wake up, this is what is happening. So at 9:17 a.m., we see the moon making a sextile aspect with Neptune in Pisces. So this is that energy of that you have done the deep introspection work in your dreams, and now you will be able to see through the illusion of that fear trigger, of that anxiety, of that thing that came up in your dreams. This is that energy of being able to learn the emotional lesson from that dream that triggered it. Then at 10:21 a.m., we see an aspect that will help us work on that emotional lesson instead of fearing it. So this is Lilith and the moon making a biquintile aspect. And because we are likely to have done that work during our sleep, we will find ourselves sort of thinking on those emotions that showed up and how they have affected our confidence in ourselves and how they have affected our ability to choose ourselves over other people or over a certain way that we want to appear in the world. Then at 11:54 a.m., we see an aspect between the moon and Venus. So this is going to bring up like an annoying or underlying relationship issue. And it's going to feel like someone isn't doing their part and you don't want to say something about it. So this could be any sort of relationship. We could be dealing with a friend, a parent, a child, a work relationship, a love relationship. But it is that energy of not really wanting to say something, but that you really should. Otherwise, it's just going to smolder. Okay, so then at 1:32 p.m., if you have left that smoldering, we see the moon conjunct to Pluto. This is fight energy, okay? So if you didn't bring up the issue earlier, you will not be able to hold yourself back now, okay? This is serious emotional depth energy as well. So it is the energy of wanting to get the work done, wanting to push through, wanting to learn the lesson. And you will have been coming out of that emotional subconscious growth from overnight. And now you're going to really start seeing that maybe someone isn't showing up, and that is going to annoy you. Okay, and you will feel empowered to correctly stand in who you are and stand up for yourself, okay? But just be careful we're not being too detached from our emotional side and not being too pushy and not just being mean, because that Capricorn energy can come off as quite cold and quite harsh. And you could be the one coming up against this energy as well, not the one providing it. All right, so you could be the one who didn't show up for someone, and you could be on the receiving end of this fight energy. Now then at 2:29 p.m. the sun is squaring the moon. So this is overcoming that issue of someone not wanting to do their part, and now we see an interruption. So because perhaps that issue took a while to sort out, or because someone didn't show up the way they were supposed to, or somebody was late, or they didn't do their part of the work that they were supposed to do, this is that energy of now it is starting to interrupt your downtime, okay? This is that energy of, well, I was supposed to be finished work and now I am not. Okay, and then we start to see a little bit of a change, 3:32 p.m. This is a happy aspect, so this might be the concluding energy for that issue that you've been dealing with for the day, okay? So this is a relationship abundance. This is Venus trining Jupiter. This is finding comfort and balance now that everyone is understanding of what their part is and are doing it. Or this is that energy of just going, okay, and moving on, and understanding that, you've learned your lesson and that you are now more discerning in who you allow to come into your relationship space in order to achieve your abundance, okay? Then we see a very short void moon period between 5 p.m. and 5:06 p.m. And this is with a square to Mercury in Libra. Okay, so this is an emotional communication, and this is that Capricorn is going to want to detach emotionally, and it's going to come off quite cold and harsh because this is the energy of Mercury in Libra looking for balance. So perhaps the energy of that person or people that you moved away from earlier that you decided were not somebody who you could trust to do their part, or it could be the energy of someone that has exploded their emotional energy at you and you wanting to go back in to get some clarity, or somebody else wanting to come back to you to get some clarity and to discuss. But it will be a heated discussion. So just be careful we're not coming off too cold, because as well as Libra wanting to look for balance, it is ruled by Venus, who can be quite vindictive, okay? Then when we come out of that void moon phase, we move into Aquarius. So this is a very helpful energy for dealing with this situation, because moon in Aquarius is very progressive and very collective thinking. And it's going to help us see how our actions affect others, and it wants us to be social. So it supports us in this idea of working toward a common good, and it gives us an independent and rebellious nature, and it makes us want to be a bit adventurous and a bit weird. Just be careful, because Aquarius again is one of those energies that can quite confidently detach from its emotions, and it can be too upfront with its rebellious individual nature, and it can annoy some people. So you might be the one being annoyed, or you might be the one annoying others, okay? So at 6:13 p.m. we see that Aquarius moon making a sextile aspect with Saturn, and this is excellent energy for working towards a collective purpose. So if we have uncovered an issue today and we have sorted through it, this is that energy of seeing how the collaboration really does help the collective, and being able to achieve something when we work together, but being able to stand in our own individual nature to do it. But it's also that energy of, if we are following the story of the day, of the person, if it was you or someone else, who couldn't quite see why you needed to collaborate in a certain way in order to move towards that goal. This is that energy that will help you be able to see that, because Saturn being our value system and also being in that kind of dreamland space really helps us open up our mind a little to the collective emotions. Then at 8:41 p.m. we see the moon making a quincunx to Lilith, and remembering she is in Virgo, looking at our critical nature. So this is that Aquarius moon wanting us to look at perhaps how we project our critical nature onto the collective, and about how the collective affects the way that we are critical with ourselves. So being that the moon is in Aquarius and it wants us to see our place in the collective, this is about really seeing how, when we don't stand up for ourselves, how that affects the collective, but also how the collective forces us into places because of reactionary triggers in our dark emotional natures, of how we maybe then do not want to stand up for ourselves. Okay, so that is how we're ending out Sunday. It is a positive way to be ending out Sunday, even though it could be a bit of a hectic day, but that moon in Aquarius is going to make Sunday night a little bit more open to some collective fun. So I hope you had a nice week, and I will see you tomorrow.